Namaste to everyone. The last class we have discussed about the concept of culture, the root of culture, the meaning, scope and definition of the culture. In today's lecture we are going to discuss about the elements of the culture, or we can call as the subfields of culture, and another field of one is main features of the culture. What are the main features of the culture? These are the two aspects which we are going to discuss in this class. From the last class we are able to understand the term culture is not used with consistent meanings. It is used with various meanings in common sense. As a scientific term, culture refers to all the features of human society or a way of life. For example, the production, modes of dress, routine living habits, food preferences, the architecture of a house and public buildings, etc., are all comes under the term culture. Now let us look into the main aspects of the culture, or we can call as the subcultures. What are the subcultures? We can say that belief, values, customs, rituals, stories, language and symbols and artifacts can be considered as main subcultures of a culture. And now we will discuss on each aspects of these subcultures, because we have to go in a detailed way, because it is a class where students should understand the basic concepts and the subcultures of the subject, the concept of culture. So we will be going a little slowly with illustrations, giving examples for a better understanding. Why I am telling? My grandson in Chicago, he has gone through my lectures. He asked me, "Grandfather, you use illustrations wherever it is necessary for easy understanding of the students, because your lecture, not only anthropology students, students from various disciplines also hearing, including engineering, management, sociology and other disciplines of technology also, because the subject matter is very important. Unless we cannot understand the culture, we cannot coexist within the society. That is why I am trying my level best to put you in a detailed way of understanding of culture. This lecture took me for 1 week to prepare, because I had to collect number of illustrations and photos and figures for better understanding. Now let us see one by one. Beliefs consists of large number of verbal mental statement about any object based on person's specific information and judgment of something about that object. Based on beliefs, person decides what is right, what is wrong, what is good or bad. Beliefs about anything has different dimensions. In Hinduism, we all believe that the Vedas, they are Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda, and Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita are important for us, are important subjects which we believe, that which has been represent Hindu belief system. And especially in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna's Om, let us see how it symbolizes and how its meaning and how we will be Hindus believing. So one of the best examples is the Om. Now let us see the Om, what it says. In chapter 8 and verse 13, the verse says like this: Om ityekaksharam brahma Vyaharan yaham prayati tvajan deham sayati paramam gatihim. Om actually sounds like a three-part word. The part A represents creation, and U is manifestation, and M is destruction. So it explains that it is basically all compassing the whole universe of joined into a single sound. It represents the union of the mind, body, and the spirit. So we all believe that Om represents the entire universe, and also it gives us the mind, body, and spirit. That is why we believe that Om is more powerful than any other. There is no equivalent to word Om. So many of us believe the Om. Beliefs fulfill the spiritual needs of culture. A whole culture can be based on one set of beliefs. Yet a larger cultural group may have many different sets of beliefs. So different groups, different religions, they have their own belief system. For example, the Hindus have a different system of worshipping Shiva, Vishnu, and Shakti, whereas the Christians is having a different faith and beliefs. So every religion or every society, they have their own belief system. Values are also beliefs, but these are those beliefs which are less in number, core in nature, and very difficult to change, and is shared by most of the members of the society. Value guide that what is good and what is desirable versus what is bad and undesirable. The core values are commitment, passion, dependability, honesty, loyalty, efficiency, reliability, optimism, and positivity. These are the very important core values for a human population. And also we can consider the quality in everything we do, communication with respect and clarity, innovations and improve your way of livelihood, accountability for our actions and deeds, and proactive and seek solutions, be ahead of different problems and issues, especially traveling curves, different aspects. You must be ahead of thinking what will be coming, that is anticipating the things. These are some of the core values for human beings. Values help define acceptable behavior within the society. Values can be different for each group to which a person belongs. For example, it may be acceptable within the family group to eat certain type of food, and that may not be acceptable within the religious group. A person chooses. So here you can able to distinguish. A person may like, or a family may like to have a certain kind of food, especially non-vegetarian. In a family they may be accepting and they may allow to eat, but whereas a society it cannot be acceptable. Now let us look into the customs. Customs are apparent modes of behavior that form culturally approved or acceptable way of being in a particular situations. They consist of everyday or routine behavior. For example, bargaining for goods and services is a common in India. In West, it could not be considered, and it is considered as rude. For example, religion demonstrates a society's morals and beliefs about humanity, spirituality, and reasons for existing. Every Hindu believes that worshipping of sun god is worshipping the universe. That means, here you can see every family they will worship sun god, because sun is not only the god of fertility but also it gives us everything. And it is believed that worshipping God, worshipping the Mother Earth, and worshipping the Panchabhutas is also a custom, that is, worshipping earth, sky, air, fire, all these things Hindus consider as a Panchabhutas. So it is a custom for every Hindu to worship the Panchabhutas. The next important subculture of culture is language and symbols. Language is considered to be a system of communicating with other people using sounds, symbols, and words in expression a meaning, idea, or thought. Language is a complex symbol system. In fact, it is considered a closed, self-restrained system because you can only define a word by referring other words. In any case, anthropologists strongly agree that the use of language is a very basic human trait. In fact, human societies can only exist through the sharing of symbol systems that permit us to speak or write words. Language is used to communicate affects, that is feelings, express cognitions, that is thoughts, shares experiences of sensation, that is pleasure or pain, and expresses and shares values. Now let us discuss about symbol. Symbol is an object, typically material, which is meant to represent another object, even if there is no meaningful relationship. Anthropologists have argued that though the course of their evolution, human beings evolved a universal human capacity to classify experiences and encode and communicate them symbolically, such as within written language. Since these symbolic systems were learned and taught, they began to develop independently of biological evolution. Or, in other words, one human being can learn a belief of value or way of doing something from another, even if they are not biologically related. That this capacity of symbolic thinking and social learning is a product of human evolution confounds older arguments about nature versus nature. This view of culture, a symbolic system which adaptive functions, which varies from place to place. Anthropologists distinguish between material culture and symbolic culture not only because of each reflects different kinds of human activity, but also because they constitute different kinds of data that require different methodologies to study. Another important subculture is stories. Culture is often embedded and transmitted through stories, whether they are deep and obviously intended as learning device or whether they appear more subtly. The power of stories is in when and how they are told and the effect they have on their recipients. Every society in the world have their own belief system and have their own folk songs, folk dances and folk stories to tell about their moral way of life living. We have the stories on festivals, we have stories on wildlife, we have stories on morals, and different type of stories tells about the folk culture, how to live in the human society, the morals, the ideas, and the scientific innovations how to make and build a career for the young children and to teach them how to live, what are the good and what are the bad, or the things which you will be learning from the folk tales and folk stories. In Mahabharata stories, Ramayana stories are all taught for the children in the beginning of their course curriculum itself. Artifacts are the physical things that are found and that have particular symbolism for culture. When people see them, they think about their meaning and hence they are remind of their identity as a member of the culture and by association of the rules of the culture. The artifacts provide us essential clues of researchers studying ancient cultures, which you can see here, the Mahabalipuram and stones, made carvings, the Buddha, other sculptures which you can see here, stone car which is made in Mahabalipuram and carvings in the marbles in Mount Abu and Tanjavur temple is a world monument and the crown of and the different type of jewelry which has been made which will be using as a decoration for human populations. So artifacts are immensely useful to scholars who want to learn about our culture. Archaeologists excavate areas in which such ancient cultures lived and use the artifacts found there to learn about the past. Many ancient cultures did not have a written language or did not have actively recorded their history. So artifacts sometimes provide the only clues about how the people lived. So far we have learnt the subfields of culture. Now let us look into the characteristics of the culture. Culture is the center of society and without culture no society can even exist. It is the main differences between human beings and animals. It is a heritage transmitted from generation to generation. It includes all the ways and behaviors that is social life. Man is born in the environment of a culture in which he seeks his way of behaving and acting in a given society. That is a very important aspect of cultural features which you can observe now and you can learn about different features and characteristics of culture. Now let us look into the different characteristics of culture. The culture is a learned, culture is social, culture is shared, culture is transmitted, culture is continuous, culture is accumulative, culture is integrated, culture is changing, culture varies from society to society, culture is responsive, culture is gratifying, and culture is linked with the society. So these are the some of the features. Still we have some more features which we will be discussing at the end of the third part, which time permits we will be discussing those aspects also. Let us analyze each aspect of characteristics or cultural features in detail. Culture is learned. Culture is not inherited biologically, but it is lent socially by man in a society. It is not an inborn tendency acquired by man from the association of others. Culture is not innate, it is learned, such as art, language, traditions, values, and norms. From the infancy, the child learns how to eat the food. We can observe the child how he is learning to eat the fruit, and also how to eat the fruit are told by the parents. You can see here how the girl eating the mango fruit. It is a culture, how she is learning. Swimming is also a part of culture. Every child learns swimming from their parents. It is not an inbuilt character. So, learning swimming is also a part of culture. In Hinduism, children will be taught about different costumes, especially the Krishna. You can see here about Krishna's costumes is also taught to the children from the childhood, and the flag, national flag, how it is looks, and most of the scientific students, especially anthropologists and sociologists, they will learning about the family. You can see here nuclear family, extended family, and small families also we can able to learn by this. Culture is not an individual phenomena, but it is the product of society. It develops in the society through social interaction. It is shared by man of society. No man can acquire it without the association of others. Man is man only among men. It also helps to develop qualities of human beings in a social environment. Deprivation of man from his company is the deprivation of human quality. To give you the one of the best examples how the folklore and songs as a product of society. Here it is not one man, it is a people of all them have developed this culture. This is one of the Baiga tribe of central India, how it has been learnt about the dance performance. Singing and dancing are having a ritual and cultural significance in the lives of Baiga people. Festivals, madiyas, that is fairs, rites and rituals, weddings and even birth and death ceremonies are all incomplete without singing and dancing. Culture is shared. Culture is something shared. It is nothing that an individual can pass but shared by common people of a territory. For example, the customs, traditions, values, beliefs are all shared by man in a social situation. Some of the beliefs and practices now we will see. All members of a culture will hold a shared set of values, ideas, perceptions, and standards of behaviors. This does not mean that everyone within a culture will act and think the exact same way. Culture cannot exist without society, an organization, group of people who share a territory, language, and culture. Known human societies that do not exhibit culture. Risk of culture is transmitted. Culture is capable of transmitted from one generation to the another generation. Parents pass cultural traits to their children, and in return they pass to their children, and so on. It is not transmitted through genes but through language. Language is means to communication which passes cultural traits from one generation to another generation. We have a very good example. Let us see this culture how it is transmitted. In the jungle, the songs sung by both men and women tells about the species available, that is fruits, roots, tubers available in the jungle, and the taste, how it tastes, how it can be cooked, how it can be eaten, or described in the songs. And also in the same way, the fauna, that is what are the wildlife available and the taste of each meat and where they are available in the jungle, all are discussed in the songs. It is a oral tradition preserved from generations about the flora fauna in the jungle which are available for their subsistence of livelihood. I would like to say here, even today, either anthropologist or botanist or zoologist never tried to analyze these type of songs. What are the flora and fauna, how it tastes, how they are cooking, and how they are eating. These songs should be analyzed in depth before the songs extinct from this Baiga community. Culture is transmitted through its people, both formally and informally. Informal transmission occurs every day as individuals interact with each other, watch television, or read books. Formal transmission occurs through efforts to socialize an individual, such as an school or government. Here, how the culture transmits through its people, both formally and informally. One of the best example I want to give you about the tribal folklore, folk songs, how it is transmitted. That is especially the rich cultural heritage of India, how it is transferred. Let us have this song. Culture is a continuous process. It is like a stream which flows from one generation to another through centuries. Culture is the memory of a human race. Now, orally or literally, how it transmitted. Now, let us look into the example of how cultural transmission takes place through oral tradition among the aborigines of India. Prepare the fire with the friction of the two pieces of the wood even today. For the preparation of the fire, minimum 3 persons are required. One holding, two are making the friction. Here you can observe here this fast frictioning makes the fire. Here you can observe the first individual is making. So it will continue for a period of 5 to 7 minutes to make the fire. The invention of fire, iron, and the wheel brought tremendous changes among the human populations. So, all these traditions, all these traits will be transmitted from generation to generation. You can see here the fire making. Even today, the Todas are making the fire through way of friction. Important characteristics is culture is accumulative. Culture is not matter of month or a year. It is the continuous process and adding new cultural traits. Many cultural traits are borrowed from outside and these observed in that culture which adopted it, as culture is accumulative and combines the suitable cultural traits. The important cultural characteristics is culture is integrated. All the cultural aspects are interconnected with each other. The development of culture is the integration of its various parts. For example, value system is interlinked with morality, customs, beliefs, and religion. Every culture is an integrated system. There are functional relationship among the economic base, that is infrastructure, the social organization, that is social structure, that is family, marriage, caste system or association with the families, and the ideology, that is superstructure. It is interconnected or integrated together cultures, and culture, ethnicity, nation, diversity, traditions and beliefs of the people all are integrated for the societal coexistence in a better way. In order to keep the culture functioning, all aspects of the culture must be integrated. For example, the language must be able to describe all the functions within the culture in order for ideas and ideals to be transmitted from one person to another. Without integration of language into the fabric of the culture, confusion and destruction would regain and culture would fail. This how particular culture traits fits into the whole system. Human culture is a system that make the whole function together like a human skeleton reproduction system. Culture is also a changing. It remains changing but not static. Culture process undergoes changes but with different speeds from society to society and generation to generation. Here we have the best example how the food gathering and hunting societies. Here we have a best example the pastoralists community, the tribes inhabiting in Nilgiri hills called as Todas, who are pastoralists, have changed their occupation from milk and milk products making to agriculture. Is an important a change which you can see from here. Todas, a pastoral community living in the Nilgiri hills in Tamil Nadu. Traditionally, they are buffalo herds and they depend on their economy on milk and milk products. From generations, they are depending on it. Over a period of time, because of the deforestation and encroachments and different problems from local and also from the government forest departments, they have changed or they forced to change their occupation. Now slowly they have given up their profession to a great extent and adopted agriculture as their main occupation. This is one of the best examples how occupational mobility or occupational change taking place from traditionalism to modernism. They have learnt the agriculture from the Badagas who are inhabiting in the nearby villages. The Badagas are helping them in different activities of agriculture. Some of them have given their lands for lease to the Badagas. Here you can see they are growing tea and some of them are growing cauliflower, cabbage. Also, this is the buffalo dung which they will be using it for the fertilizer. The important characteristic of culture is culture varies from society to society. Every society has its own culture and ways of behaving. It is not uniform everywhere but occurs differently in various societies. Every culture is unique in itself in specifying society. For example, values, customs, traditions, ideologies, religious performance, beliefs are not similar but different in every society. However, the way of eating, drinking, speaking, greeting, dressing, etc. or differs from one social situation to another in the same time. In this connection, I wanted to bring the two cultures. One is Central India, Baiga tribe, the way of dance and songs and economy, and another is pastoral community Todas of Nilgiris from South India.
पूर्वजों का है।
अच्छा,
जो पुरातन में जो चलते आए हैं।
अच्छा,
उसी डांस है, इसको हम लोग दशहरा डांस बोलते हैं।
दशहरा डांस।
दशहरा से शुरू होते होते अभी ये होली में समाप्त हो गए।
अच्छा,
एक गांव की महिला दूसरे गांव के पुरुष आकर के 11-12 बजे रात में एकत्रित होते हैं। गांव में सूचना होता है और फिर गांव के जो सियान सियानीन हैं, बूढ़े जो भी जितने हैं, वो सब इकट्ठा होकर के और जो ग्रुप आता है महिलाओं का, उनको निकाल करके, जैसे हम ये मंच कहते हैं, इसको खरना बोलते हैं। खरना।
रीना, सुआ and tapadi. The Dadaria is another important form of song and dance which use poetic expression of the Baigas. This is the pastoral tribe of Nilgiri Hills, and you can see here the culture, the dress pattern, the language, the way of dancing and the facial expressions, everything is totally different. That is, each society is different from one another, but they coexist within the country. That is the cultural diversity in India. The another important characteristic of culture is responsive to the changing conditions of physical world. It intervenes in the natural environment and helps man from all dangers and natural calamities. Example, our houses are responsible to give us shelters and safety from storm and heavy rains. One of the most effective ways to bring cultural responsiveness into the school environment is to train teachers to be prepared for a diverse classroom and diverse families. In many ways, teachers are the facilitators and mediators between the overall school children and the families and their children who attend the schools. They orchestrate a series of social interactions and social contexts of a continuous basis. To do this well, teachers need to train in cultural responsiveness. That is in Dalhousie University for 5 times. 5 summer courses I have offered there, and the students and the faculty and the vice chancellor has highly appreciated my lectures. One of the lectures which I have given, you can see here, more than 85 students registered my course. The students are from different disciplines. It is a soft core course for 3 months. Weekly 3 days lectures will be given. Each lecture will be 3 hours duration. So these lectures attracted many of the students from different disciplines, especially computer science, management studies, and engineering, sociology, and psychology, social work, because they wanted to know about India, Indian culture, Indian civilization, and how the India is presently here to work and develop their future. Culture is gratifying. It is gratifying and provide all the opportunities for needs and desires of satisfaction. The needs may be biological or social, but is responsible to satisfy it. Our needs are food, shelter, clothing, dares, or status, fame, money, sex, etc. are all the examples which are fulfilled according to the culture ways. In fact, it is defined as the process through which human beings satisfy their needs. So that is culture gratifying. So gratifying refers to agreeable, which cultural patterns are accepted and sanctioned by the group members. That is, every society they have their own cultural patterns which is accepted and sanctioned by the group of people. Culture provides proper opportunities for the satisfaction of our needs and desires. For example, in the tribal communities, every society have their own folklore, folk culture, and different aspects of folk stories telling. So they wanted the opportunity as a society together. They agreeable way they prepare some scripts and perform in the national, international fairs and festivals and national functions. This is emotionally satisfy their needs and desires. That is the very important one, how cultural gratifying satisfies human populations. Culture is linked with the society. Culture and society are one and the same. But if you say that these two are twin sisters, it would not be wrong. Society is a composite of people and they interact each other through it. It is the bind the people within the society. So you have already discussed in the first part that culture is a two-side society and culture is a two sides of the coin. It have both the sides. So culture cannot exist without society. Without society, culture is not there. So it is the two sides of the coin, and culture and society goes together. Another important characteristics of culture which I wanted to add here is people creatively use culture, which I wanted to inform you, because based on the observations I find out this is also one of the characteristics of the culture. The tools made by the man in the prehistoric period, stone and axes, is an best example created by man. And another, the houses which has been made by the pastoral community, which you can see here, that is the Toda's house, unique house they have made. Based on the ecological adaptation, they have constructed their houses. And you can have also have the stone made sun temple in Orissa, and also stone cars which are available in Mahabalipuram are one of the best examples of creativeness of a human being. And also the latest cultural heritage of India is the Maharaja's Palace of Mysore. You can see here how they have used the modern and age old technology and decorated with illumination. These are some of the examples of created by man as a cultural heritage. Another important characteristics of culture which I want to add in this lesson is culture is adaptive or maladaptive. People adapt themselves to the environment using culture. The ability to adapt themselves to practically any ecological condition, unlike other animals, makes humans unique. This ability is attributed to humans' capacity for creating and using culture. Culture has also maladaptive dimensions, that is, the very cultural creations and achievements of people may turn out to threat their survival. When we see the contemporary problems of the environment, the side effects of rapid growth, and in science and technology, etc., we see that culture is also maladaptive. So, culture is adaptive to live a better way of life. Because culture is continuously changing, when man needs anything, he invents ways of getting what he wants or adopts what others men have discovered to meet his needs. So culture is always adaptable, because the based on the climatic conditions, environmental conditions, national havocs, and national calamities, the way of living of a human population is also changing. According to the environment, ecological conditions, the human population adopts the culture. In concluding this lesson, we can say that the important features of culture are that culture is all encompassing. It is socially learned, it sees nature, it is adaptive and maladaptive, it is stable yet changes, it shared, is symbolic, is specific and general, is shared, patterned, and people is it use it creatively also. All human beings are cultured. There is no cultural superiority or inferiority among the societies, which we will be discussing afterwards. Which society is superior, which society is lower, that is the biased nature that we will be discussing in ethnicity and ethnocentrism. However, all people to some extent tend to regard their own cultural values and norms as a better and somewhat normal or natural. This tendency is called ethnocentrism. On the other hand, we need to realize that every cultural trait. So, with this, we will be concluding today's lesson, part 2 of Concept of Culture. Hope again we will meet in the next class to discuss on the concept of culture, part 3. Thank you very much for hearing this lesson. Thank you.